Hey, Brandy. Before I get started, I just want to make sure my sound is okay. Let me know if you don't hear me. I just swapped out my microphone and just want to make sure we're good to go. Awesome. Well, I am super excited to have you here today. We're going to be talking about 3 easy strategies to create a content posting rhythm. And that is just so key in getting any kind of momentum going in your social media posts. So, the purpose of today is to answer the question, how do I create a content posting rhythm, right? How do we do that? So, we're going to dig right in and talk about it. We're going to define what a content rhythm is, why we should use it, and how you can automate your content posting rhythm. And I'm going to do my best to keep this to about 20 minutes today, so we'll see how we do. Please let me know if you have any questions along the way. So, a content rhythm is all about putting together your ideas in a way that creates flow in your social media strategy. And you want to be able to build in like themes and different kinds of posts for different types of days to help you really be able to get people excited about what you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about why that could be important to you, right? So you want your social media to be a two-way conversation. So like we talked before, when you're doing ads, you want that just to be a one-way conversation. This is what I have. I know it meets your need. Follow my call to action. Buy here, join me here, right? So with your content, you want to be able to build some kind of easy flowing rhythm so people know what to expect. So you might do a theme for every day. You might have Motivational Wednesday, Thankful Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday, Self-Care Saturday, whatever it is that your people would be looking for content for you. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but it will help to give a framework for what you want to do. So many times I see business owners get stuck in creating a rhythm because they don't know what to say. They don't know where to start. And they sit down and, they look at this blank screen and they have no path forward, right? So when you sit down and you create those themes for the day, or maybe you do a theme by the week, if you're a money mindset coach, you might have things about money mindset. What do we think, right? Self-sabotaging, maybe the next week. How do you overcome negative self-talk that you have around money? Maybe week 3 would be all about how to be prepared to receive more into your business. What do you need to do? Do you need to have automations? Do you need to have more staff? Do you need to have a higher ticket offer, right? And so you can build out your themes that way. There really isn't any kind of hard and fast rule. It's really about you knowing your avatar and what kind of content is going to help move them forward in their life or business. So, you might look down, if you were an event manager, for instance, maybe you would give venue reviews. Maybe that would be part of the content. How to do an event planning trip. What do you need to look for at a site visit? How to gain productivity in your day when you're a super busy event planning person. Maybe you would share quotes about productivity, maybe even about goal setting, right? You might need to help your people in the event industry have more work-life balance, how to relax, how to unplug, because so many times people in the event world are just so locked into their job. They're on call 24/7. How do you let go of that? Do you want to include curated material in your posting rhythm? That can be a really great way to start building relationships with influencers. you start noting them and sharing their content, they're going to take note of that and maybe start following you, engaging with you on your social media stuff. So that can be really important too. And then maybe you have a blog. Maybe that blog is a part of what your flow needs to be. Every week you write an article about something that is going to benefit them in their business or in their life. What is their buying motivation? Is it about making more money? If so, you want to have more content about how what you do can help them make more money. If you're a mindset coach, having a better mindset about making money could help them make more money, right? Building confidence could help them make more money. If their motivation is all about feeling more love and acceptance, you would want to post things that would help them feel more loved and accepted. How does that begin with them? What kinds of things can they do to love themselves more so they can attract and receive love from other people? So knowing who your avatar is going to really play into how you create your flow and what it is that you set up that's going to be meaningful for them. Because you can spend tons of hours. I've heard it said that marketing for a coaching or consulting business can eat up 70, even 80% of your time. And so if you're really focused on what you're doing and you have a plan for your rhythm, you can definitely cut down the amount of time that takes. So you want to decide which day of the week each kind of post would be best. What does their life look like? What is their flow like? If you're doing something working with, let's say, moms of school-age kids, and you're wanting to post tips about menu items for sending in lunch bags, right? You would want to probably post that on a Sunday or an early Monday so they can plan for the week, right? You don't want to hit them at the end of the week when they're so tired of, carpooling, running kids to extracurricular activities, and it's been a week. They're not going to grab onto that. So what kind of lifestyle do they have? How can your posting rhythm fit into their life best, right? And then again, if you're dealing with like the event planning group, Mondays might be a really bad day to lay down anything heavy for them. Maybe they dread coming in on Mondays. How can you boost them up? How can you get them excited to face the week that they have ahead? So again, understanding who it is that you're serving and how can you fit into what they're doing to be able to really bring value to them. So why use a posting rhythm, right? Why does it matter? Well, like I said before, sometimes you can sit down in front of the computer and feel like you have nothing at all to say because you don't have a strategy in place for writing, right? And so if you have a theme going on, whether it's weekly, monthly, daily, you know what it is that you can possibly write about. Okay, so you want to be able to sit down, write out what those themes could be, write down the topics that you could write about underneath those themes. And so when you're feeling stuck, you're not sure what to talk about, you can go to your list right then and there and come up with some ideas. You also want to really pay attention to what people are saying inside of your group or responding to your Facebook or LinkedIn profile pages. How are people engaging with you? What are they saying? What kind of information are they looking for? You might look in other Facebook groups that you're a part of that have your tribe in there. See what conversations are happening so you're able to continually build your content list. The other reason is you can be more consistent. When you really have a plan thought out and you know exactly what you're going to do, it's so much easier to execute. I was talking to a client and we were talking about sales, and I made the comment, a confused mind never buys. And he came back to me and he said, a confused mind never sells if you don't know what you're selling, right? So we could even carry that through. A confused mind doesn't write. If you don't have a plan for your social media strategy, chances are really good that you're going to put it off and say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then you lose your momentum. When you stop posting and you have a lull in your posts, the algorithm counts you out, right? So you have to start all over again, building into the avatar, the algorithm believing that you have valuable information to share so you can stay relevant inside of each social media platform. So that's really important. When you have a rhythm set out, right, then that allows you to have some kind of variety in your content. You know, when you're talking about mindset, sometimes it can sound like the droning drum, just bam, 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 bam. Well, how does mindset affect us in different areas of our life? What does it have to do with our relationship? What does it have to do with business growth? What does it have to do for showing up for ourselves? You know, there are a boatload of different ways that you can approach mindset, but you might feel like you're just saying the same thing over and over. And if that's how you feel, you may not be motivated to continue to create new content. And so it's really helpful to be able to know what your options are, right? You're giving yourself the opportunity to step into some different topics or areas of what your expertise is to keep it interesting and to give you something fresh to share every single day. And then I like this one the best. It allows you to batch your content. So maybe you're doing motivational quotes, right? You could sit down and just bust out a bunch of motivational quotes, create some graphics, get those scheduled, and you're on your way, right? You could do that a week at a time or a month at a time and be done with it. You could sit down and maybe you do how-tos, you know, how 3 steps to build better confidence, right? 5 strategies to a better waistline, right? 3 tips for detoxing from sugar, whatever it might be. You could sit down and bust out several different little tips that you might be doing, right? So if you batch it, you might just get in that genius zone and be able to feel really creative and do more in less time, right? Um, it also allows you to see what's popular, what's working for you. Recently, I discovered that my tribe really likes checklists. It was something new that I started this year, and people are really digging it. I hadn't thought about doing that. So I've even gone through and reworked some of my old content, put it into a checklist format, and I'm going to rerun some of that because, you know, people don't remember what you ran 6 months ago, probably not even 6 weeks ago. And if you look at the number of people that the algorithm is showing your information to, probably 90% of the people that were in your group, you know, following you probably didn't even see it. So think about how you can repurpose some content that you already have out there. But then you're able to look at your analytics and you can see what's performing well. You know, maybe Thankful Tuesday isn't working out. Maybe it's Tipsy Tuesday and you post during the cocktail hour and share work-life balance tips, you know, be creative. Like I said, there's no right or wrong, but this gives you more tools to decide what you should be posting and when, what's working and what's not, and you can make a tweak. We all know that marketing is trial and error in many cases, and you just need to figure out what is working with your group. And once you've got that nailed down, you'll really start to see momentum building. And then if you have a teammate, if you are using some kind of a rhythm with themes or topics, you're able to delegate that. You know, having somebody go out and mine motivational quotes for you would be a great use of their time so you can focus on writing more in intentional and purposeful content, right? If you're doing tips, you could have somebody on your team, hey, I need you to come up with 3 tips for this or 5 tips for that, or, you know, 10 steps to successfully, you know, losing 100 pounds in a year, whatever it might be. You can better delegate because you have a system in place for doing that. So this is, I think, one of the most important parts is how do I automate it? What makes sense to automate? How do I know how often I should be posting where I'm posting. How do I figure all that out? How does that make sense, right? So the first thing I would recommend is getting an auto scheduler. There's several that have a free plan or a light plan if you're only focusing on one or two social media accounts. This is money that I always think is super well spent because it's going to save you boatloads of time. Hootsuite is one that I have used and many of my clients use in their business. And one of the things that I really like about Hootsuite is if you're working with a team, you can go in and you can set up all of your posts. You can have them all scheduled. You can save them as a draft. And then if your client needs to go in and look at them and approve them, they can just simply go in and hit schedule to approve, and it will move it into your calendar. That can be a super easy way to keep everything organized and in one place, right? Meet Edgar is the tool that I use. I love Meet Edgar because I can build a library of things and have them rotate through. So motivational quotes is something that I use in my business. I have a motivational Monday, and I usually post one quote out there that has to do with, leadership, business building, confidence, mindset, those types of things. And I have one that just goes out, and I keep adding as I find things that I like into my library. And the new things that I put in go to the top of the list. So there's fresh content, and then it picks up with whatever's old, and the oldest is recycled first. And so I can just keep building that content, and it will just keep recycling through. It has some really great features. This is one that I especially like for my blog post. So I'll do a little headline. I'll do a couple of words, hey, if you want to learn more or read the full thing, there's the link to do it. It will go through and recommend up to 6 different variations. And so I might pull out a bullet point and do a short little blurb about the bullet point if you want to know more. And so I can have my blog come up multiple times throughout the year and have 3 or 4 different variations that would drive people and traffic back to that blog. And so that is a really sweet tool. Sendable is an interesting one. Not my favorite tool for the way I like to work, but it's one of the few out there that will allow you to post to your Google My Business page. And it's just a time saver to be able to plug things in and not have to go and open up my page and go through and get to where I need to go to post. And so if Google Your Business is an area that you're really advertising, it's a great way to continually add new content to your Google feed. They also have some of the best analytics. And so if you're a person who geeks out on reporting and analytics, Sendable might be the right thing for you to be able to use. Sendable and Edgar, I think Hootsuite too, also make it easy to post just standard posts to your Instagram feed. I know that some of the platforms out there fight with it a little bit, or you have to do an extra step because you have to approve it through your phone. And if you don't, then it doesn't follow through. They don't make you do that. They'll do a direct post. And so I really like those too. So then the next thing that you want to do is you want to look at when is the best time to post for your tribe. Some of the social media platforms will give you a recommended time for posting. And so if you want to try those recommended times, if you're not sure when your people are online, then, by all means, play with that a little bit. And then you can start making adjustments as you see when people are engaging with your posts. And so you can post at those appropriate times. And then you need to figure out how often should I be posting on the different platforms. And, again, there's no right or wrong. It's what's going to fit with your client and how much time do you have to create. I do mentoring with Jim Edwards. He recommends that you should be posting 7 days a week. I don't post on the weekends because my people aren't online on the weekends. They don't engage with anything. And so why waste my time to post when my people aren't engaging? So I post Monday through Friday. I usually have 2 to 3 posts each day that go out to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And if there's other things that come up, I'll interject those into my day. But I have 3 staple things that go out each and every day. And then the question is, what kinds of posts do I put out there? How do I automate that if I'm just sending out links for curated content, right? You can't post a link that's going to auto post directly into Instagram. And so you need to look at what additional work do you need? Do you need to add a different graphic that would go in and be able to populate it and then have the link available inside of Instagram, or would you leave that out? So take a look at, are you going to post videos? Are you posting to stories? There's some things that you're still going to have to do manually. So how does that fit into your schedule? Because it's just as important to post at a time that's convenient for you as it is to post at a time that's convenient for them to see you come up in their feed. So make sure that you're taking all of those things into consideration, and keep in mind, you are just building a framework. You're not setting this in stone. You have the ability to go through and change it and update it as you need to do that. So let's do a little recap. What did we talk about today? We talked about what is a content rhythm. We talked about why we should use one. What are the benefits that we get by having a rhythm? And how can we automate that so that we save time and be able to maximize our time to the most important tasks in our business? So, I know that you guys know this. Consistency is key when you're building an audience on social media platforms. When you have a rhythm to your posts, when you have things that your potential clients can expect from you, they really start to anticipate what you have to say, and they start looking for your posts. They'll go to your page. They'll go to your profile, right? They want to hear from you because you've established yourself as that go-to person who can really help them grow their business, get that transformation that they're looking for so they can live their best life. So make sure that you're showing up in a consistent way so the algorithm is, paying attention to you, that you're staying relevant and you're always adding value, right? And then just to throw it out there for you guys, if you don't know where to start, we have a calendar making system that will cater to what your actual niche is. And so we can tell you what kinds of posts that actually will give you the headline. So you still write the post, but on this day, this is what I do. And there's a whole list. So if you have 10 minutes a day, you can choose that activity. If you have more time, I think there's 7 activities a day that you could choose from, but it keeps you very focused on what the purpose of your post should be and how to build variety into what you're doing while you're organically speaking to the problem that you solve. So you're always staying top of mind in what's going on. Even if you're posting a motivational quote, why is that important to them? You're gonna learn how to be able to communicate everything that you're posting in a way that relates back to why you're serving them and why they should pay attention to you. So for just a final thought for today, if you're not making a call to action in each and every one of your posts, and I know that sounds like a lot, I want to invite you to include that in your strategy. So a lot of times people will think call to action, that means I'm always selling. That doesn't mean that your call to action means buy from me, right? Your call to action might be join me for a coffee chat to get to know somebody, right? It might be a consult for somebody who's further down your sales journey, and maybe it's time to really have that conversation. It might be inviting them to take a survey or a poll for you. It might be inviting them to join your email list or to get a freebie. Maybe you're growing your list. It might be inviting them to a free challenge that you're doing, right? Sales is just an invitation. And so you want to get used to creating invitations in your conversations with your potential clients as a natural part of your rhythm. And so they're not surprised when all of a sudden you have a call to action. And so all of these little tiny steps are training them to say yes to you. You're making it easy for them to say, oh, she invited me. Yay, I want to say yes. So when you're ready to sell something, they're already programmed to click that button that says, register now, click here, grab your copy, whatever that may be in your business. So I would definitely invite you to do that. And I would like to invite you to join us next week when we're going to talk about the 4 E's of marketing that will help you increase your engagement. So thanks so much for being with us today, and I will see you guys next week.